Assalamu alaikum friends, welcome to lecture 1 of SBL, the much awaited lecture. Everyone was waiting for my SBL lecture. So this is the first ever SBL lecture in my playlist SBL lecture. Before this, the first video I have uploaded was a 3-hour video where I have introduced everything regarding SBL. How the exam pattern of SBL will look like, what are the things you need to study, the syllabus. I went through the syllabus of SBL, the textbook of SBL, the revision kit of SBL, the resources that you need for SBL from your ACCA website. Everything I've covered from A to Z. Following lectures from today onwards will all be lectures. Okay, how I have structured this lecture you will come to know in the next slide. So today's topic is effective leadership. The reason I took so long to come with SBL videos, people were commenting, they were messaging me when I'm going to upload SBL lecture. The reason I took so much time is I wanted to test that what will be the most effective way to start SBL lecture, which topic to start first. Why? Because SBL subject is such a topic you can start with any order. You can start the topics in any order. It need not be leadership. It could be from your big data, technology, or your finance, or your strategic changes, anything. But I was struggling a bit. I was figuring it out which way is the most best method to start. There is no perfect way to start SBL. You can start in any order. If you see your textbook, the lectures are in this lecture is not chapter number 1. If you open your Kaplan textbook of SBL, the latest Kaplan, this lecture is not the first lecture. This chapter is not the first chapter. This is chapter number 10 from your Kaplan textbook. The reason I have included it as number 1 is if you see your syllabus. I've earlier showed you in my lecture 1, the video 1, the syllabus of SBL. Please go through the syllabus. Leadership is 1, the first topic. The first section is leadership. So how I'm going to do is, if you see the subheading, which is not in capital letter, leadership. Why? Because this topics, this one and the following 2 videos, the next 2 lectures, the videos will be on leadership only, section leadership. Okay, so effective leadership is the topic. Now, topics to be covered. These are the sections that are covered in SBL. I have already gone through this in detail in my first video. Okay, introduction to SBL. Yes, that was the lecture, the TR video. I hope most of you must have seen it and then you have come to this lecture. If you have not, then please go back and do check before you go on with the lectures of SBL. Okay, so there are 8 sections, as you can see, section A to H. If you see a SBL syllabus also, this is the same order, A to H. Starting with A, B, C, D, E. Leadership, governance, strategy, risk, technology, control, audit, finance, and change management. These are the topics, wide topics. Under this, you will be having different chapters. Now, when you open your Kaplan textbook, it's very confusing because you don't know which topic goes under leadership, which chapter goes under governance. It's a bit hard, not so difficult. It's not in the correct order. That's the reason I have put this lecture in that order, this order only, A to H. I'm not going by the order of your textbook, chapter by chapter. No, I'm going to finish all the chapters that is related to leadership. Then I will touch upon governance. Then I will touch upon strategy. Then risk, technology, audit, finance, and change management is the last one. So this will be my order of lectures. Okay. I'm again repeating so that you don't get confused later on and ask me. All my lectures will be given in the playlist. If you see from first to end, it's in that order only. You don't have to struggle in that. Because what happens is when you go through most of the content on YouTube, they don't give that order. It's like they just give all the topics, but one does not know which topic to start with and which is the ending topic. There should be some logical structure to that, how you start and how you end a topic. Yes, it's true, you can start studying from any topic. It's okay, there's no harm in that, but that's my way of delivering, that's my way of presenting. So that things become easier. You can easily align this with your syllabus, not textbook, syllabus. So before I start, let me tell you, if you are going through your textbook, I have used the Kaplan textbook for this video. Okay, there are so many things. I have deleted some. I have made it in short summary form. More of it will be my explanation than what I've written in the slides. Okay, you can always have the textbook as a backup. It's from the textbook only, nothing new. I didn't create any new piece of information. Okay, first is leadership. So we are going to start with leadership in this video. And leadership has 3 videos. This is the first video of leadership, and the upcoming 2 videos will be on leadership. After that, we'll be moving to governance. Okay, so today's topic is leadership. Under that, we are going to cover this. This is your chapter 10. Again, I'm repeating from Kaplan textbook. Okay, so in Kaplan textbook, there are 5 points that we have to touch upon today. Number 1, nature and importance of leadership. Why leadership is so important? See, we are in a business. Strategic business leader is the name of this paper. So you always have to think from the point of a business. You are a business owner. So business owner means what? You are in a leading position. That's why this is the first chapter I've started with. This is the first lecture. That's the reason. You have to know what are the qualities of a leadership, why leadership is so important before you actually dive down into other sections, other functions of a business like tax, audit, finance. Those things you will anyway able to cope with, because those things are already explained to you in your previous papers like financial accounting, management accounting and all. But leadership is something which is very new for this, right? And if you have a right leadership, you can lead the business into any area. So leadership, and leadership is not in a specific area, overall everything, whether it's audit, whether it's finance, you have to lead. It could be in any organization, in any business. Okay, so nature and importance of leadership. Next, we are going to go through some leadership styles. There is not only one, there are many. Okay, and our main objective is not to figure out which is the best. There is nothing called as best leadership style. Sometimes you might use one, sometimes you might use a combination of 1, 2 or 3. Depends, depending on the circumstances. But you have to know the leadership styles. Third, leadership and management. How these two are different and how they are similar. The difference is mostly leaders and managers are not the same thing. They're different, okay? Leadership and culture. Very important, culture. Because if you have a good leadership, only you can change the culture of the organization. Okay? That's why these two are linked, culture and leadership. But culture part I have not covered in this video in depth. Culture part in your Kaplan textbook, it is chapter 24, managing strategic change and all. And if you go by the section of SBL, the previous slide, it is under section H, change management. That's why that chapter is not included in this chapter, chapter 10. That's a separate chapter. But part of it you can use under leadership, relating to culture only, where we are going to go through cultural web and all. It's a model, cultural web and all. So in this video, I've not included that. That will be the third video. I've told you, right? 3 videos under leadership. That will be the third video. This is the first video under leadership. That will be the third video, the culture, where I'm going to talk about culture only. And fifth, entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship. This is a new term, intrapreneurship. It is not there in your previous SBL textbook. You will not find out. It's something new which has been included in this year, the latest textbook. Make sure you have the latest textbook. If you don't have, email me and you will be getting the book on the same day or the next day after. Okay, you'll be getting the textbook and the revision kit. Okay, I'll have both, but Kaplan only, not BPB. Entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship, the differences between these two. Okay, so let's start. And before I start, let me emphasize on this point that in this lectures, all the SBL lectures, what we are going to cover in the future, you don't have to memorize anything. Don't try to memorize each and every points. Okay, it will not help you. The point is not to memorize. The point is just to have an understanding of it. That's it. You have an understanding and write it in your own words. That's it. Don't pressurize yourself by keeping too much in your head. Otherwise, you'll forget everything. So don't memorize. These are the leadership skills. Under these are the points. These are notes. But always have a book with you, note, pen. Keep it wherever you feel like you have to make a note of it. This is the first lecture. Okay, the first video under this playlist, SBL lecture, is not a lecture. It is actually an introduction to SBL. We went through revision kit, syllabus, changes in the syllabus, then textbook, then I think a question from the CV platform, everything. We have covered everything. So I hope now things are easier. You are settled. You will be able to understand better. If I say professional skills, if I say technical skills, right? You'll be able to understand better now after seeing that video. So that's why I always say, see that video. It's a 3-hour video. See that and come here then. Then things will be much easier, smooth. See, later on things are very smooth in your SBL journey. The initial struggle is in the first stage. If you passed, you overcome that, later on everything is easy. Everything falls on the place. Okay? And some of you start messaging me, ma'am, how long does it take to study SBL? See, there is no specific time. I cannot give a time. For some, it might be 1 month. For some, it might be 2 weeks. For some, they might need 2 months. Depends from individual to individual. Your capability and your ability to do things, how much you can take on, depends. So there is no fixed time. Decide your time. Make sure that you finish the textbook at least twice. Not the textbook, I would say the revision kit. Practice more on the questions than the textbook knowledge. Initially, when you struggle with the revision kit, you will know where you're lacking in the knowledge. So you will come back and then study again. That's how the process should be. And revision kit questions, I'm not going to attempt in SBL. I'm directly going to touch upon the past paper and the practice questions from that. Reason, it's not the same as your exam. So I don't want to waste your time going through all those questions, which is not going to come in the actual exam. We have to follow the actual exam pattern, the 4-hour paper with all the exhibits. Not just some 12 marks or 15 marks or 10 marks question and waste time. But if you feel like doing it, initially, yes, you can do. Okay, so now let's start. Nature and importance of leadership. Don't memorize, just go through, have an understanding, that's it. Main idea about leadership is you are trying to influence someone. Okay, you are influencing someone to achieve the goal of an organization. We are talking leadership from the point of a business. Okay, normally leaders can influence to achieve anything, but for our lecture, for our subject, we are talking achievement of goals means organization goals. Okay, so you influence someone, you have an influence, you have a say over someone. That is the meaning of leadership. Okay, so then leadership is all about moving people and getting things from point A to B. You are moving the people as well as the things. Okay, so these are some main things that leaders usually do. Improve performance. Why do they do that? To improve performance. To improve performance, you have to move people. You have to encourage them. You have to influence them. Without your influence, organization will not go forward. That's why leadership is very important position. I would not say a position, it's a quality, I would say rather. So improving performance. Number 2, changing the way things are done. Sometimes things are done which are not all right. It might have gone unnoticed, but a true leader is someone who can identify and make the changes. You have to change. Third, making a new product. When you make a new product or a service, it is the leaders who can encourage. It is the leaders who can influence. Okay. And if the designated leader cannot communicate, see, if you cannot communicate, if the leader, whoever the leader is, if he cannot communicate why he has to change or why a new product has to be made, okay, then he will not succeed. You are not behaving like a leader also, and you are not going to succeed in that task also. That task is also not going to be completed. That's why it's very important that leaders should have a very good communication skill. They should communicate with their staff why someone has to change. You have to show them the vision, because you have a leader have a vision they don't have. You have to tell them, look, this is the reason, these are the benefits of ABC, give them the drawbacks. Okay, influence. You have to tell them why, you have to tell them how you're going to do it, and when you are going to do it. So why, how, and when, these 3 are very important questions. A leader has to communicate this to the staff. Okay, then leadership styles. So these are the some nature of leadership. Okay, they influence people, that's a nature. They get things done, they improve performance, they have good communication. All these are nature of leadership. That's the reason why leaders are very important. If you have to improve the performance of the organization, leaders. If you have to change the way things are done, leaders. If you have to make a new product, it is the leader's duty. That is very important. Now, leadership styles. So these are some few leadership styles. Don't memorize, but understand what are the different theories. One is trait theories, the first one. Under trait theories, we say that qualities that are required by effective leaders. Every leader has some traits. These common traits are visible there in the leaders, such as one quality could be physical trait. Maybe uh, they say that leader is someone who should have a certain appearance. He should look like a leader, or a certain height. If he's too short, does not, you know, look like a leader. A leader is supposed to be broad and tall, and he has to look strict or something like that. We have some visual image relating to leaders, right? Their appearance has to be such, their height has to be such, their energy, they have to be highly energetic. Physical traits. These are some physical traits that are that could be seen in a effective leader. Although it's not the important, it's not so important. I'm told you already in the beginning of the lecture. No theory, no style is the best. Everything is okay, but depending on the situation. Next, personality traits. This is based on your personality. Leaders are said that they can adapt very easily. Adaptability, enthusiasm. They show enthusiasm. They have self-confidence. So these are some qualities that are there for leaders to be effective. Okay. Then social traits. Traits could be something physical. Physically, you look like a leader. Personality, it's in your personality. Third is social trait. What are the social trait? How you deal with the people. Social is something to do with the people only. How you cooperate, your administrative ability to deal with the challenges with the people, how do you work under pressure with your team. These are all social trait. Okay, don't memorize the list. Okay, under physical trait, the appearance, height, first, and then go and write in the exam. No, learn it, understand it, keep it in the case study. Just see what in the case study, just see out of this or any other theories that we are going to study later on, out of it which is most applicable in the case study, and then use it accordingly. Trait theories. Okay, many great leaders were considered to have. Now I'm giving you an example, some live example. Okay, this are done by a research done by someone. They told great leaders are considered to have these qualities. What are they? Above average intelligence. Leader is someone who is taught to have some above average intelligence, present sense of mind. Suddenly when you see things are not going according to the way you want, leaders are not someone who panic. Okay, they will try to come up with something obviously which is practical, not, I mean, not something impractical. Okay, initiative. Leaders, you see leaders anywhere in your life. Leaders could be everywhere. In your home also you can see your siblings or your parents, someone having this leadership skills in them. The qualities you see. What is it? Initiative. They are always they always take initiative. They don't say no. If you give them a task, they will never say no, I cannot do it. They will always have that initiative. Yes, I can do it and I will do it. They're very independent. They try to innovate. They're always ready for an action type people, right? Motivation. They motivate. Self assurance and self confidence. They have a very strong self confidence. Okay, they don't rely on external motivation all the time. Yes, there might be people who motivate. They might get motivation, but it is mostly they are self motivated, right? They are motivated from within. The helicopter factor, what does it mean? So the ability to rise above a particular situation and see how it is. They are being very objective when they see a situation. They don't, when they are in a situation, particular situation have occurred, unfavorable situation, let's say. So they, when they have to take a decision, they take a very objective decision, not very, they don't get very emotionally biased, or not very practical also. Somewhere in between. Okay, they try to come up from that situation and see the situation as a third person, and then they take a decision. That is known as a helicopter factor, beyond the above. Okay, from the above. And other essential qualities like enthusiasm, sociability, integrity, courage. They have the courage. The imagination power is very high. They can imagine a lot. They have very high determination. Energy is there. They have a faith. When they believe something, they stand for it. These are the qualities of a leadership. Okay. Now, Problems with trait theories. Yes, we say that they should motivate, they should do this, they should have physical qualities, they should have some personality things are there, but there are some problem with this type of theory. What are they? Number one, counter examples are also there. We say that a good leader must be tall, right? Normally that's how everyone views it like that, but a short person, okay, I'm not trying to insult anyone, please don't take it as an offense or something. A person who is short in height could be an effective leader, and they have been effective leader, they have proved in the past that they could be effective as well. So it has nothing to do with your height whether you will be a good leader or not. Okay, if you go by the trait theory, they say height matters, but reality, when you see, it's not like that. Okay, okay, so one theory suggests a leader must be tactful and courteous. A rude yet effective leader was found. See, they always say that you have to be kind, you have to be generous, a leader, right? But sometimes what happens is a person might be rude, but he might be an effective leader. The example has been found. Okay, I'm not trying to promote that you have to be rude. No, that's not the message. The message is there has been found the opposite. Counter examples has been found. Okay, that's why it's a problem if you go by this theory. Then third, good leadership is simply possession of particular physical or psychological attributes. They say to be a good leader, you should have a particular personality, you should have a particular your physics, you should have a particular height, or you should look like a particular way, you should dress up in a suit, and then only you will look like a good. No, it's not simply the way you look or your attire is, your psychological attributes. No, it's beyond that. Okay, so counter examples. Now, second type. So this was the first type. Trait theory is number one. Second leadership style is according to your behavior. First one was according to your trade. It could be personality trait, it could be a physical trait, or social trait. Here it's behavior. There are four management styles if you go by the behavior. That means four types of behavior could be expected. This is very important. Okay, usually this comes in the exam. Tails. Number one is tell, autocratic. Autocratic means you just tell. There is only one way. What do I say? Communication. You just say and things are done. You just tell, you give them order, you are like a boss. That is known as autocratic. Okay, no one questions them, they make the decision and that's the final decision. Second is you sell. Sell means persuasive. You are trying to see, when you sell, what do? You cannot just say tell, okay, I want to sell, you have to buy it. You don't say to buyers like that, right? You have to persuade them to buy. Why they have to buy? So that's why it's sell. Sell means persuasive. Second type. Here also, manager or the leader still makes all the decisions. See, manager here in this context, I am referring to leader. Okay, managers could be leaders. So manager still makes all the decisions, but they believe that team members must be motivated, because if team members are not motivated, they will not carry out the order properly. They will carry by force, not by heart, and then everything suffers. Productivity suffers. Staff might leave the company. All those stuff. So they still make the decision, but they make sure that staff are motivated by the decision that they do. So they try to persuade the staff. They try to sell themselves to the staff, to the team member. So third, consult, participative. Consult, participative means you make your team member also participate in the decision making. The managers, they do that. They don't make decisions alone. They have a final say. Yes, managers is still the one who will be having a final say, but they involve the team members also. Okay, give your opinion. Let's see. Let's have a talk, discuss, consult. And the fourth one is join, democratic. Join, everyone joins together and make a decision. It's like a democratic, where leader and the team member together, they make the decision on the basis of consensus, maybe based on the majority. So you see this four. So if you see the graph from the top, autocratic to democratic, it is from very bossy, it is becoming less, and then where everyone is joined to make a decision. Okay, so you don't have to study it in this order. Any order is okay, but know the features of it. What does democratic means, participative, persuasive, autocratic means? Okay, these are the four management styles. Very important, you have to use it in your case study. Now, more towards more things regarding behavioral theories. Let's see what it says. Ashridge, okay, discovered that most people preferred what? Okay, let's say someone, you don't have to remember the name, who discovered and what. The name is not very important in SBL, okay? Just forget about Ashridge. Just someone discovered or preferred that most of the people, they say the best is consulting style. Let's see consulting style. What is it? Consulting style is participative, where they are told to participate. Final says with the manager, but they come and give their opinion. So this style is most preferred, consulting style. Okay, but though the most important thing was consistency, staff disliked it when managers changed between. See, when you try to change between different styles from one consulting to democratic to autocratic, managers staff don't like it. They dislike it. Why? Because it's not, you see, you always have to keep a consistent pattern of your behavior. When you're behaving in a certain way, in a certain management style, you have to keep hold of it. You have to be consistent. You cannot, one day you are using consultancy, second day you are becoming demo. You cannot do that. You cannot keep changing like that. Why? Because it becomes very unpredictable for the staff how to behave. Because, you know, so be consistent in the method, whatever it is, democratic, autocratic, be consistent. Next, Lewin concluded. Lewin is some other person. We don't have to go in depth who is Lewin and all. He concluded in terms of productivity and satisfaction. Okay, productivity. Productivity is also high. Satisfaction is also high. Is in which style? Democratic style, where everyone makes a decision. This is the most productive and satisfying style according to Lewin. Okay, I am not saying, or you are not saying this is the most style. And which style is the least productive? It is the autocratic style. The boss's style, where the boss gives the order and everyone follows without question. That is the least productive because it makes the staff frustrated and aggression among the group members. Okay. Now, same like how we had problems with the first theory, that is trait theory, similar way we have problem with this theory also. Every theory that you are going to study in SBL model will have limitations and problems. You have to learn those problems. You have to know it. Don't memorize, but understand. Okay. It's not so hard to understand things. This things SBL syllabus, in fact, is one of the easiest syllabus, if I have to be honest with you, compared to other, because other fields are very, very technical. Finance, you have to know too much. It's like in depth. Options, swap, how they are valued, and how business is valued, everything. So many models, so many calculations you have to do. Tax is also same, so many tax laws. Audit is also like that. So much of audit procedures. But SBL, on the other hand, is not like that. It's very open-ended type of syllabus, open-ended questions you can answer in any way. Varieties of answers are there. So feel free. Okay. So what are the problem? Number one, the way we have found counter examples with trait, similar we have found with behavior also. Okay, one example is Warren Buffett. Don't ask me who's Warren Buffett. I'm sure everyone knows it. And if we don't know, he's a extremely successful and a high profile investor, Warren Buffett, right? Make sure that you Google and search about him more to know about him, who he is, and his management style, and learn from it. Okay, so he believes that laissez-faire management style is highly successful for him, Warren Buffett. What is the meaning of laissez-faire? What is the meaning of laissez-faire management style? Not very autocratic style. Okay, not very autocratic style. He's not being very bossy. He believes that you have to focus on hiring very capable people in your organization if you want the organization to go forward. Your people have to be very capable, not you alone. If you are a very successful leader and if your people are not that capable, organization is not going to run in the long term. Remember this always. You can be a very good leader, but along with that, you should have very capable people also. And autonomy of this executive is key to success. So laissez free is very free. He's being very free as a leader. He's giving all the authority to the executive in the organization to take the decision because he believes that is the key to success. He being the leader telling do this, do that will not lead to success. Why? Because executive is the one who is in the organization, who has the knowledge of the daily knowledge of what is going in the organization. So they are in the better position to make a decision. They have an autonomy. Autonomy means freedom. to take any decision. You hire capable people will make capable, very good decision only. If you hire incapable people, then you cannot follow the same management style with them. You cannot leave them to make decision on their own. There you have to supervise them. Okay, next. What is it? Steve Jobs. Okay, the Apple's shop, this thing, investor of Apple. What does he say? He was well known for his uh, autocratic style. Autocratic means is a bossy. He does not give he does not delegate his work to anyone. He's very reluctant to do that. He believes whatever he says, everyone has to listen because he goes in and out. That's how, because that worked for him. Okay, but according to Levin's work, just now in the previous slide, we went through Levin's work. He says autocratic style is least productive. But according to Apple, Apple proved it wrong. Steve Jobs proved it wrong. In his case, autocratic style worked best for him. How do you know it worked best for him? According to Forbes. Forbes proved it. Because according to Forbes, Apple was the largest tech company in 2017 in the world in 2017, and also the 9th largest company in the world. According to company, 9th, according to tech company, largest company in 2017. So a company cannot be, it cannot appear in Forbes or any magazine or anywhere as the largest company if the leader is not effective. That means Steve Jobs proved to be a good leader. Even though he has been autocratic, he has been bossy, he's not delegating the work, but it proved it's successful for him. So here also, according to Levin's book, it's in the opposite, right? Now, third theory. I think this is the last theory. There are 3 theories only: trade, behavior, and contingency theory or contextual theory. This theory says difficulty with style theory, style or behavior theory. What is it? They say style theory does not reflect to certain situations. They believe if you are following a certain style, let's say autocratic, you are forever following that style only. But it's not true. It's not true. Sometimes your situation which you're working under it matters a lot. So that situation thing is not inbuilt in those theories, which is there in this theory, contingency. That's why this theory came up. According to the situation, contextual theory, according to the context. Because a leadership, good effective leadership is made up of, it is a multidimensional nature. It's not just one. You cannot just look at one style and say, okay, this is an effective leader. No, if to call it an effective leader, it has many phases to it. Situation matters a lot. Which situation are you being taking the decision matters. It's not there. So the modern consensus says no one best style of leadership is equally effective for all circumstances. You cannot say autocratic style will work in all the circumstances. It will not work like that. Maybe for some style it worked, but when you are in a different circumstance, you have to change the style of the leadership. Now, leader needs to adapt to 3 competing needs. There are 3 needs. What is it? Needs of the group. A leader has to see the needs of the group. How do? They communicate, they build the team, they motivate the team, they discipline the team. Don't memorize the things in the bracket, just understanding purpose. Need of individual. When you have to individual, you coach them, you counsel, you motivate, you develop them. And the needs of the task need. You have to set objectives. You have to set the objective, you have to plan the task, allocate the responsibilities and performance standard, check the performance. So this 3 tasks or needs a leader has to adapt to this. When a leader is setting things, he have to see whether the task is performed or not. Number 1. Number 2, if the task is there, the group are being motivated. It's not just the task and you leave, forget about the group and individual. It's not like that. All the 3 has to work together. Obviously not all will be satisfied 100%, but at least even if you satisfy 50% also, it will work. So task, then group. After group comes individual. In the group, there are some individual needs also. You have to see whether you are satisfying those needs or not. Some of the individuals in a group, let's say, might need coaching from you regarding certain things. You might have to coach, you might have to motivate them. Okay. So Contingency theory. This theory is a mixture of both the first two theories that you went through. Trade and contingency. Sorry, not the first two. Trade and contingency. First and the third. Okay. Is the situational approach. So this is known as situational approach. According to situation, you react. You have certain traits. Let's say your personality is like that, and now contingency. Now the situation is also like that. That your trait is very helpful for that situation. That is known as situational approach. Now some examples are here. Don't memorize the examples. Just understand. The theory here is that leaders are the products of particular situations. Leaders come in a particular situations. You don't identify leaders all the time. In a normal working organization, no one knows who is a true leader, what is the capability of a person, unless certain situation occurs like that where you have to take that role, whether you want or you don't want. So certain situation gives us a leader. One example is Hitler in Germany in 1930s. Then we have Churchill in Britain in 40s, Mao in China in after 1946. These are some examples. But for them to prove a leader, there was certain factor that existed in those situations. What are they? Economic depression. There were economic depression, government was weak, high unemployment was there. So due to this reason, they came up and they tried to, let's say if economic depression is there, what did they do as a leader? They will try to reduce that economic depression. Or government is weak, they might replace the weak government. Or unemployment is high, they might try to reduce that unemployment. Okay. So the theory suggests that leader emerges who recognizes the problem and characteristics or trait fits the needs of the situation. The last point is very important. You understood this means you understood the theory. A leader is someone who understands that this is the problem. He recognizes the problem, whereas others they do not recognize. Everyone sees the problem. We all have same two eyes. Okay, if 10 people are sitting in a group, all if you give them a certain situation, everyone will not be able to recognize the problem. Only a person who has that quality of a leadership can recognize the correct problem, and what will he do? He will try to solve the problem. How will he try to solve the problem? Do he have any tools? No. He will see whether his characteristics or traits fit the needs of that situation that time. Do he has a particular trait in him? For example, now is the time for you to be autocratic, bossy. You cannot take the the opinions of everyone. You have to take a decision, because maybe in your organization everyone is not capable enough. They might not be qualified enough to take a decision on their own. You have to be autocratic. So if you are personally also autocratic in type of your nature is autocratic, you can easily fit there and take that decision. But if your nature is not like that, you like to consult people and all, but the situation is such that you cannot consult people that time, then it will not be a good fit. So you have to see a fit with your trade also, with the problem. Then only you emerge as a theory, emerge as a leader. I'm sorry. Now, test your understanding one. So this is your first test your understanding for this chapter. This is the only one test your understanding. It's like a question. Okay. Very similar to your exam style, but the only difference is there are no professional skills in this one. Okay. But in your main exam, you'll be having professional skills as well. But just for knowing the pattern of writing answers in SBL, this is a very good question. Okay. So let's attempt this. Before that, let us first see the requirement. It's always a good idea. Okay, good thing is you always start with the requirement. Okay, in SBL, especially in SBL, always start with the requirement. Why? Because there are so many exhibits you'll be having throughout the case study, long exhibits. So when you read the requirements, when you go through the exhibit later on, you will have this clear thing in your mind that okay, this is the requirement, this is what I'm looking for in the exhibits. So let's see, and this is for 15 marks. So let's read the requirement. Using an appropriate theory of management style, write an email to T explaining why she is experiencing difficulties described in her new post, and recommend the kind of management change that might still be appropriate. So the question here is, you always understand what is your role, what is the format that you have to apply, and what is the requirement. So the format is email. Okay, Email is the format. Now you have to be very clear, guys, that if you write correct things, but the format is different, other than email, you still will lose some marks. You are not going to get full marks. You're going to lose out on your professional skills or maybe some technical skills as well. Because when they're specifically mentioned email, it has to be that format. Format matters a lot, okay, in SBL. So email only. Make sure that you know the format of email. This I have explained you in the first lecture, Introduction to SBL. Okay. To whom? Main is to whom? Sender. Sorry, you are the sender. Who is the receiver? You are the sender, you. So receiver is T. You are writing an email to Mr. T. About what? This, okay? Some person, okay, is facing difficulty in her current post. Sorry, in the new post. What are the difficulties that she's experiencing in a new post? Maybe she changed her job. Before she was having some management style. Now maybe she might have to change the management style. Okay, so it is regarding management style, theory of management style. Okay, we have went through that, right? The theories of management style, the styles of leadership. We have to exactly describe those things. Okay, so here you don't have to go and write theories. What we have just discovered. What were it? Behavioral traits, then personality traits, then all those stuff. You are not supposed to write theories here. Theories of management style means you have to use your knowledge of those management style to write your answer, linking with the case study. So now let us read. Before taking up a position as head of the finance department of QRS, always see what is the position of him. Whenever you talk about leadership style, you have to see what is the position of that person. Okay, head of finance. This is her new role. What is it? This is called annotating. What am I doing? As I'm reading along, I'm annotating it so that it becomes easier for me to later on build up an answer. New role, head of finance. T has enjoyed a career in army. So army is the old role. Why it's important that you highlight this, what is his role before and after? The reason is because your leadership qualities, your leadership style will not be same for this two. It will not be appropriate. The same leadership style if you use for this two, finance and army, it will not work. The way a finance department is function versus an army is function is very different. So leadership style also has to be changed accordingly. Okay. Which she had attend, okay, career in the army where she had attend the rank of major. See, rank of major means she is some top level, okay, she is some top level, okay. So the military style of command has suited T's personality also, okay. Whatever the way military style where you have to command and your subordinates will listen to you, it's suited with T's personality also. Sometimes what happens is your leadership style suits with your personality, the way you really are, you are able to lead better in that way. But sometimes you might be a little bossy type of nature, but where you have to show consult with your team, it becomes a little difficult because it's not suiting with your personality. But in this case, it's suited with T's personality. Why? Because she is by nature an assertive kind of individual. What is the meaning of assertive kind? Someone who wants to give order. I give order and it has to be followed. It's like that. So giving orders is something that comes naturally to her. You see, something which is natural to her. So that's why in army, leading army was very easy for her because there also you have to give command. There you don't do consultation with other departments and all those stuff. No, it's not like that. Some major will be giving commands, and the army officers who are in the lower level will be listening to the major. Okay. So the start of a new post as head of finance has not been easy. Understand the issue. What is the issue? Issue is now she's in the finance, she's having difficulty. What is the difficulty? She has found that a previous style of management has not well received by her new staff. Whatever the previous style, what was the previous style? Assertive, giving order. Now it's not working in this because the staff is not accepting it. Remember, when your staff does not accept your command or is not reacting well, that leadership style is not appropriate. In that condition, you better change it. You have to change it. It will not work in a long term. Okay. So her enthusiasm for improving the way things are done in the department is not matched by that of her staff. In fact, if anything, an air of resentment seems to exist in the department. More generally, T is finding it difficult to adjust in the whole way of operating. She is finding it very difficult to operate QRS. Because head of finance, no, head of finance. She has to lead. She's in the leader position. Every time you will not see this word leader or she's a leader or she's no. Leadership means you are using the application. You are showing that you have leadership qualities through the way you lead. It could be a department that you are leading. It could be a big group of people. Or no, okay, it could be anything. So head of finance. In her view, so much time seems to be spent in meetings. Okay, she thinks so much time is spent in meetings in here, head of finance, and in consultation. Generally, the she wonders how the organization manages to compete in the marketplace as successfully as it does. How the organization manages to compete in the marketplace as successfully as it does. Because she thinks if so much of time is spent in meetings and consulting, how are they competing successfully? That was her concern. After that, required. You see, not much is given in the case study. What is it? The older thing is leadership style is different. The two leadership style. Please understand. Army and finance. In the army, she was a major, now head of finance. So in the army, it was assertive style, or you could say autocratic style. More like a bossy type of nature. You are giving orders. Here, it's like more you have to consult. Okay? The two styles are different. So now how are you going to write answer? You cannot use this case study entirely to write your answer. Please understand this. In SBL, even in your exam also. Only some facts, maybe some numbers will be given, some things, but you need the knowledge, you need the support of that. What the things, the qualities, the styles of leadership that you have learned. There are 4 or 5 styles of leadership styles that you have learned in theory, right? The knowledge. Now apply it in this answer with what you know from the case study. What do you know? Army, autocratic style, finance, consult style. Only those two. What are the features of autocratic style? How it goes? In what condition it operates well? And consulting style. These things you have studied. Now apply it. Let us read the answer. See the answer. So this is how your answer should be. Okay. Just see here. I'm just taking you. I'm going to go through it. So it's an email. So please write it's an email. This is the format of the email. You cannot skip this. You have to write it. To whom you're writing? To Mr. T. Start. Okay. Number 1. Number 2. From whom? Let's say you are. Don't write from me. Who are you? Who are you? Your position you have to write. Maybe you are a management accountant or a consultant or a business advisor. Anything. So just write management accountant. Date today. So in your exam, when you have to write the date of your exam. Okay. And subject. Make your subject very, very small. This is 3, this is 4. Subject has to be very small. Minimum 3 to 4 words. Don't keep your subject too long. Subject line should not be too long. You're not writing sentences there, okay? And subject could vary from individual to individual. It could be anything. Style of management, management style, okay? Or leadership style, anything like that you can write. So here, management style. Because it talks about management. Your subject has to be keywords which tells you what is there in that email. So we are talking about management style, or you could even say leadership style. Still okay, perfectly okay. Okay, don't worry too much about choosing the right perfect subject. It never happens. There is no thing called perfect in SBL. Everything is open-ended. You can write anything. Vast varieties of answers you will get in SBL, and all of them might be correct. Okay, so management style. Your introduction, the way you end, matters very significantly. Don't underestimate it. Okay. And when you're writing, please see, there is always a space in between. The white space, can you see? You always have to space it like this. In paragraphs, you have to write. Now, how many paragraphs you have to write? How will you decide? See, It's up to your experience. The more you do, more questions you do, the more better you will get in figuring this out, that how many paragraphs, how many points I have to write. Initial stages, because this is the first question I am ever attempting in SBL from the textbook, you will not understand how many paragraphs and all. It's a bit difficult, right? It's okay. It's okay. It's always okay to make mistakes earlier than to regret later. Make more mistakes and learn more. The more mistakes you make, the better you will learn. Why? Because then you will know what are your mistakes and what are the types of mistakes and one person can make. You'll become more aware. That's why I always tell you, do make mistake and then learn, rather than trying to avoid mistake and just reading answers and going. It will not help you in the long run. Okay. Initial, maybe you might write 1 or 2 paragraphs. Later you will come to know, okay, 5 6. So number is not fixed. Sometimes you might have to write 5 6 paragraphs, sometimes 1 or 2 paragraphs will be okay, depend on the number of marks. Here it's 15 marks. So if I say you 1 paragraph, 2 paragraph, no, it's not okay. It's very less. 15 means at least 6 7. Take half of 15. So let's say 6 to 7 paragraphs you might need, or 7 to 8 paragraphs you might need. Okay. So let's see. And each paragraph when you're writing, see the length. Should be not more than 5 to 6 lines per paragraph. Okay. It could be 1 line also, sometimes 2 lines. Minimum 1, maximum 5 to 6. Don't exceed that, because then it becomes very difficult for the user also. Sorry, the reader also to read. Okay. So now let us read the first thing. First paragraph, only 3 lines. What is it? I will number the paragraphs for you. This is first, this is number 2, this is number 3, this is number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. This last one is, this is fixed, okay? Make sure that in your emails and letters you always write this. We'll come to this at the end, but first we'll finish this. First paragraph. Management style is concerned with how manager deals with subordinates. Start by defining. First paragraph is definition. Because there's 15 marks, you can easily define, okay? If you read the requirement, they didn't tell you define management style. But in this you can define, because 15 marks, right? So define. Briefly, define very briefly. 3 lines enough. 1 sentence enough. So management style is concerned with what? Immediately start with the word management style. What does it mean? Okay, so when you define management style is blah 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 blah, like that. So management style is concerned with how managers deal with subordinates. What is the meaning of management style? It is basically how managers deal with their subordinates. That is the meaning of management style. Okay, so according to Lewin, there are a number of different models. That also you can mention here, because there are many different styles, not just one style. So there are a number of different models, but one that is commonly used is that of Lewin. Okay, why we are mentioning about Lewin? Because we are talking about autocratic and consultancy style. These two are uh, recommended by Lewin, that are commonly used. Commonly used are these two, either autocratic or democratic. Sorry, the consultative thing. Okay, or you can say democratic also. So that is the first paragraph. Definition and different models such as Lewin, because they told use management theory. What does the requirement tells you again? Theory of management style. Use appropriate theory. They didn't tell you the name of the theory. You can use any theory. So the theory here is Levin's model. Okay. Or different models according to Levin. Okay. That's why you're mentioning it in the very beginning of your letter. Always do this first. Whenever you have to mention a model or define, always it has to be in the beginning only. Beginning few lines, not at the middle or not at the end. Obviously, you don't define in the middle, right? After telling everything. So yeah. Second, what is it? Start with the order of the item, the order of the list given. That means first start with the old role. First he was an army officer, the major in an army. Later, she shifted to head of office. So first style is autocratic style, then it is consulting democratic style. First, let's talk about autocratic style. Start with it. This is the order that you have to follow in any SBL paper, okay? Even in your exam also. It becomes easy also for you to write in different paragraph. Second paragraph will be about autocratic style of management or assertive style of management, anything. But better mention the word autocratic, because in your theory, the lectures also, in your textbook also, autocratic has been mentioned. Okay, so you'll be very familiar with this word. Assertive, autocratic are similar, same meaning, different words. So using Levin's conclusion, you could be described. You means who? Because you are telling you are a management accountant. You are telling to Mr. T. Okay, so that's why you are saying as a second person. You are writing this as a second person, because you are writing an email to T. So talk as you are talking to someone. So how will you say? You have to do this. You are not doing this correctly. According to me, you have. So you mention, just say you. No need to say Mr. T every time. You can just say you also. Okay. So you could be described as adopting an autocratic style of management. You currently have to say current style of management. Okay, I will write here. Next to it only I will, so that it becomes easy for someone to say, okay, this is how I need to write my SBL answer. That's why I will annotate it for you. But in the exam, don't come and annotate your answers, okay? It's not needed. Because you know exactly what you're writing. Here, first question, you need to understand in each paragraph what it is mentioned. That's why I'm writing it side by side. Okay, so here, autocratic style, okay? So first you always have to, when you write an email, you have to first tell him what style, current style he's applying. Or sorry, old also you can say, old. Autocratic style. Now explain this further. Don't just write autocratic style and finish. No. What does it mean? This, you always have to make it very common to everyone, that everyone understands. When you say autocratic, not everyone will understand what is the meaning of autocratic management style. You have to make it more common and normal, right? So that any people of any category understands what it means. Okay. So this means that you are telling the subordinates what to do. Now it's more easier, right? Any normal person can tell. You're not using any jargon or anything. Telling the subordinates what to do. This style of management probably comes naturally to you. You see, you are now feeling empathy also towards the person. When you're writing a letter, sorry, this is an email or a letter, anything. Try to persuade someone personally. When you know something about that person, personally, when you know, you always have to bring this in your email or letters. But reports and all, you have to be very, very formal, okay? There you cannot be very personal or informal. But when you are writing an email or a letter, personal email or a letter, you could be a bit informal there, not too much. So yeah. So feel empathy, that how the, see, you are not trying to show immediately. You cannot write, okay, autocratic style, you are adopting autocratic style, which is not working for head of office, is very bad. You have to change your style. You cannot say like that. What are you trying to do? You are trying to persuade him to change his mind, to change his style. So you have to persuade someone. And the way you persuade, through this, you are going to get your professional skills. Maybe, I don't know which professional skill they would have appointed for this. Maybe, according to my understanding, maybe communication. Maybe communication. So yeah. Because communication is to inform, persuade, and all, right? So yeah, according to me, if they have to give marks for professional skill in this question, it would be communication. So yeah. So this style of management probably comes naturally to you, since it is the style adopted in the armed forces, where subordinates are trained not to question the orders. Okay, see, in the army, no one questions the orders of the majors and all. So their environment is different, here environment is different, and naturally also he is like that. So since you have spent a long time in this environment, this is the third point you are mentioning. You see how you are developing from autocratic style. Was it given there in the case study that he has spent long environment? No. How do you know that he has spent long time in this environment? Tell me, if I ask you this question, how? See, you have to have this, what do I say? Present sense of your mind. Sometimes not everything will be given to you, but through the words you can understand. What was his post in army officer? He was a major. Rank of major means what? He has spent a vast amount of his lifetime in the army to attain this position. Otherwise, it's not easy to come to this position. You think first year, second year in army you will get? No. You don't have to know the exact time, but know that it's a long duration. If he was some lower level army officer or something, okay, then you can say, okay, small amount. But here, he has spent a long time in this environment, being adopting that same style all, every time, giving order, order, order. So, understandably, the style that you're used to. Now, come towards finance department. You see, it is following an order, logical structure has to be there in your email. That means first thing has to be written first and last last. You're not writing last first and last first to last. It's not like don't swap. Follow the order. Now come to the finance department. So here we are talking about finance because it happened after. From army he came to finance. So the workers that you're supervising in the finance, however, what is the nature of the worker? Not everything is given in the case study, nor in your understand, nor in your lecture. But sometimes you also have to know what are the types of workers that work in the finance department. They are all professionally qualified people. Professionally qualified people means all will have their own say, their own opinion. You cannot just give order and expect everyone to listen to you. No, because everyone is professionally qualified. In army, it's not like that. You are a major means you only have all the knowledge and experience. Others are all lower level people are the lower level army who are in the lower rank. They're not as similar to you. But here, it's not like that. All are professional qualified. Whether they are the head or not, it does not matter. But all are professionally qualified. The staff is professionally qualified. So here, they are used to what? They are used to carry their own task without a great deal of supervision. You don't have to supervise this group of people like how you did in the army. They are already capable enough to do their own work. You can leave them. Okay. So now third is finance. First, we talked about autocratic. You are feeling empathy. Why autocratic? Then you went to finance. Why finance? How the people work. Now, the fourth paragraph talks about what? Should talk about what? If I ask you this question. The issue. The issue or the problem. The problem you are mentioning in the fourth paragraph. Immediately don't come to the problem. Changing this style will cause. No, it will not give you marks. Even though you are correct, you are right. But wait. First, tell what is the scenario. Autocratic style. Okay, why it happened because of this finance. Okay, this other people. Now come to the problem. Once you come to the problem, then you have to come to the recommendation. Don't immediately jump to the problem and recommendation. Sometimes some people start giving by recommendation, which is not the first thing that has to be done. It has to be done towards the end. Obviously, whenever you give recommendation, you don't just start giving advices. No, you first see the two things, the two side of the story. Sit and find out what is the exact issue, what is the exact problem that needs to be solved, and then give some recommendation if it's needed. So with this kind of worker, an autocratic style is unlikely to be successful. With this means professional qualified people, you cannot use autocratic style. If you use, they will resent. They will resent. They are not going to listen to you. So you can give two or three more issues you can give. One is same style, they will resent. Next, you may find it more useful to adopt. See, you may find it more useful. How you are using persuasive language? You're not saying this is the best way or you have to do it or you must do it. No. Slowly, you're trying to persuade the person. The use of words are very important. I'm not saying use very, what do I say? Complicated English, very difficult, very high level of vocabulary is not needed. Use simple language, simple English language, but just play. You can play around the words. I've told you always when you change the wordings, the order, the meaning changes entirely. So there you have to be smart enough. So you may find it more useful. They are not saying this is very bad. Don't ever say or criticize. If something is bad, never criticize, such as this style is very bad, you should not use, autocritic style is very bad. Because if you say autocratic style is very bad, means you are indirectly saying you are bad. Your style is bad. You should never hurt someone like that. When you're trying to make them change towards something, always give them the usefulness of it, why they have to change, so that they can think for themselves that okay, this is better because of this. So you have to say this is more okay, it's useful, but this is more useful. Start by saying like that. Okay, so you may find it more useful to adopt a more democratic management style. Now you are telling them change because it's more useful. Okay, so in which decisions are discussed with the employees rather than being imposed. In democratic style, please give a brief definition. Autocratic immediately you described, but democratic style you didn't explain. Democratic means decisions are discussed rather than being imposed. You don't impose, you discuss. So this should lead to greater work contentment with resulting in productivity and moral. Yes, their moral will increase, their productivity will increase, they will work more. Staff will be more satisfied, happier. Next, fifth paragraph. Okay, see, you have told the issue. Issue is the management style. Recommendation also you told. Change to more democratic. Change to democratic management style. Now what comes? Issues that comes to change to democratic style. Okay, one issue is okay, democratic autocratic style is the issue. Now, if you change to democratic style, what are the issues you're going to face? So issues or problems is the same thing. Okay, issues to face if changing to democratic. We always talk about change, right? Change, there's change. Everyone knows change is not easy. With it comes many problems. That's why many people are afraid. They don't want to change. Employees don't want to change. They don't want to take that risk because there are many things. It's not easy. Change is never easy. And especially it's a style is very hard. Something which has been practiced for a long period of time and suddenly you tell change because there is a benefit. It's not easy. So what are the problems? Think. Now is the time for you to think. When you are in the exam scenario, just think that this is an exam you are giving. Take every question that you do in practicing, okay, while practicing for SBL exam, think every question as your exam, that you are giving this under the exam condition. What will you do? What are the things will come up? So that's why it's always important that you time yourself and then write an answer, because that will help you to know yourself. You can discover yourself. What is your strength? What is your weakness? Are you able to read fast and apply, do a correct application of the case study with the knowledge? Are you able to get as many points as there in the answer given? In the time given, obviously, time constant has to be there. Are you, because you have to go through all this. I know it's tough initially to sit and force yourself, but you have to do it. You have to pressurize yourself because you have to face that 4 hour torture. You have to face it. You have to sit, actually sit 4 hours. It's long duration. You have to sit and then write an exam. So better to to build that habit from initial days, little by little, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and then don't straight away start writing 4 hour paper. It will not help you. You can never achieve it initially. Okay. So yeah, and this is this techniques which I'm explaining you here are the same things you have to apply in your main exam also. It's not going to change. The only difference is there you have many exhibits to refer. Here is only just some few lines. That's it. But as initially we progress, we are going to reach that level. Okay. So what are the problems? Think. Number one is what? So there will be probably a number of difficulties in changing your management style. You are used to doing things in the army way. Someone has used it. Okay. And it has been successful also for him because he has risen to the rank of major. And naturally also he's an assertive person. So you see these things you are using it from the case study. given to you. You are not using from your lecture. It's not explained to you in the lecture. Okay, these problems and all will not be given to you in the lecture. In the lecture, what is given is only the definition of autocratic style. These are the things of autocratic. This is how it works. That's it. After that, you have to build on in your answer. That's how SBL works. Okay. Not everything and each and every point is there in the SBL answer. You will not get in the textbook. So naturally, he's an assertive person. So to whom an autocratic style is most comfortable. See the nature of the person. It matters a lot. He's also an assertive. Got also and in the major where you have to come on is easy. So one difficulty is that. And then this is number one. Number two. Another factor that could cause problem is what? You might feel that you're losing the face. Quite possible, right? By changing to suit your subordinates. See, you have that autocratic style, right? I don't have to ask anyone. Whatever I say is correct. Now you feel that you are, it's like, what do I say? You feel that it's hitting your ego or something, you know. Now you have to ask, you have to consult your subordinates. So you are feeling a little bit uneasy. You're like, you're losing the face. It's normal. Everyone feels like that. So you might question the effect this will have on your authority. Sometimes you might think that maybe you might be losing your authority, right? Both now also as well as in the future also. What happens if they dislike? Okay, what if you change and they dislike that also? And then again you are expected to change again your style. That fear comes, right? What if now I change and that also doesn't work and again I have to change? It's very hard. It's very hard. So another problem is that. Second factor. Then what is it? Giving consent. You are persuading, right? It's not a factor. So even though there are difficulties, which are practical difficulties, okay, still you have to gradually change over your style over the time. It's not an excuse that you should not change because there are difficulties. No, it never happens. When something is for the betterment, you have to change, even though it takes more time, gradually, slowly, but change. Perhaps by getting, so now you are recommending how gradually he can change, perhaps by getting key subordinates more involved now and gradually extending this. Now you get only the key subordinates involved, not everyone. Later you can extend that, take more and more subordinates and involve with them. But initially just take few, very key. Okay, so practical recommendations you are giving here. See, your recommendations also can vary from individual to individual. When you're giving recommendations, make sure it's practical. It could be exercise, something that could be implemented. If it cannot, then don't give such recommendations. Okay. Now, what is another alternative solution? Don't just stick to one. If they ask for recommendation, does not mean only one recommendation only. No, you can give multiple recommendations, 2, 3, whatever you have. So this is second recommendation. And always see how they have divided it in different paragraphs. If they are giving 2 or 3 recommendations, those 2 or 3 recommendations will be in 2 or 3 different paragraphs. They never give more than one recommendation in one single paragraph. So this tells you how to divide your paragraph. More than one point in different 1.1 paragraph only. If there are 3 points, 3 paragraph. So I hope this will help you to decide how many paragraphs you have to write. So second recommendation is in the next paragraph. Okay. Alternative solution is what? Would be to involve another senior manager from a different department to help mentor you. So they can mentor you. You need someone initial days to mentor you also. Are you working it? Are you going in the correct way or not? You can take some senior manager. Don't take a junior manager or a new employed person. No, senior manager. Because you're the head of office. So you need some senior people from different department maybe. So this would involve working with a mentor who can help you discuss practical ways in which your style can evolve. When you're having a mentor will tell you this is the issue, these are the things, this is how you have to work. We have always worked with some mentor, right? How you have worked with a teacher and how teacher corrects you in the school. Or maybe you have a dance teacher or a music teacher and that coach, that mentor guides you. It tells you your mistakes, your strengths, your weakness. Same way. Because it's more harder to work initial days without a mentor. It's always good to keep a mentor one-to-one. It's always a good thing. Then the last is what? Again, you are feeling kind of empathy. The above measures are unlikely to be unsuccessful unless you recognize that it is in your interest as well as that of your subordinates and the company to change your style. See, just by mentioning these are the benefits, these are the limitations, you have to change, you will not change. It's not going to benefit you. Okay. You have to recognize that if you change, it is good for the company, for the subordinates, and for you also. Three people are going to get benefit. You have to recognize it first by yourself. Me mentioning all the list for you and you not recognizing it, it's not going to work. It's not going to be successful. So these things normally we talk to a person, right? When we talk, just always think when you're writing an email or a letter, how do you talk to a person? The way you give a guidance, advice to someone, how the way you talk to someone is the way you have to write. It becomes more easier for someone then to write, because always many people ask me how do I write a report or a letter or an email. I struggle a lot, even though I know the things in my mind is there, but I don't know how to write. The flow is not coming, the structure is not there. My dear friends, always think how you talk. At the end we always say, right, see, if I tell you, it's not going to help you, you have to realize. So this is the way we naturally talk to person, so you have to write it also, write it. It's not going to harm you. Okay. And at the end, always when you're writing an email, letter, especially email and letter, this two format, write this at the end. So this is, I'm going to put a star mark. You can memorize these lines also as it is. Always write. I hope that you have found the above helpful. Please do not hesitate to get in touch if you require any further information. That's it. You can memorize it and keep it somewhere. Type it, keep it, memorize it. It will help you. Okay. So that's it for this. Now we are going to move towards leadership and management. So let's start with leadership and management, how they are different. Okay, a leader can be a manager, but not necessarily a manager will be a leader, right? If manager is able to influence, okay, without using the formal authority to do so, they might not have that formal authority which a leader has, but still a manager is able to influence people, then that manager is showing leadership. He's demonstrating leadership. One needs to understand this. It's not always about the position that whether he's a leader or not. You might possess some leadership qualities in you even if you don't have that position. Okay. So leadership deals with interpersonal aspects of a manager's job. A manager's job is what? Planning, organizing, controlling. With some, these are administrative aspects. So these are not leadership skills. These are not leadership aspects. Okay, whether he plans, whether he organizes, whether he controls, that is a manager's job, but it is administrative part. Okay, leadership parts are what? When a manager is inspiring his team members, when he's motivating, when he's influencing the team member to achieve a certain thing, then it is known as leadership aspect. That is the leadership aspect of the manager's job. A manager's job might have all the administrative aspect, along with it the leadership aspect as well. Okay, so then it is said that the manager is a leader, but it is not necessary. Not all the managers could be a leader. Okay, there are few. Now, managers may have to rely on a formal authority to get employees to accomplish goals. One needs to understand this very clearly. A leader, or let's say a shareholder in an organization, okay, by nature, he has that authority because he has invested his capital, he's the owner, so he can command the employees to do the stuff, whatever he wants. Or a leader, let's say, if not shareholder, any leader. But managers, they need certain authority, because if they don't have authority, employees are not going to listen to the manager. So they need a certain authority so that they can influence the employees to accomplish their task. Okay. Now let us go to the skills of a leader. This we have covered before also sometime back, but let us again revisit these things so it's very clear and it stays in your mind for a longer period. Okay, a leader is the one who understands what is the exact requirement of a group. Second, they have the ability to make decisions, sometimes under pressure also, not always in a good environment. Sometimes it would be a bad or a worse environment. You still need to make a decision, ability to make a decision, not by not getting influenced or not getting affected by anyone's opinion or anything. You're not biased. You have your own capability to make decisions. Okay, understanding of human nature is very important. Don't forget that. Whenever a leader in any organization, in anywhere in your life, if a leader has to succeed, important is that his follower has to listen. His follower has to react to the leader. Otherwise, the leader will not be a successful leader. That's why it's very important that you understand the human nature. Every individual in the group has different attitude. A leader needs to, uh, what do I say, manage it. There might be conflicts between the two individuals or three individuals in a group. Leader has to come in between and take action to resolve the conflicts. He has to have a very good understanding of human nature. Okay, confidence both in the group and themselves. Okay, position of good communication skills, very important. Communication skills and human nature, understanding human nature, these two are very important, because a leader is the one who have to communicate to his team member the vision. What is the strategy? How are they going to bring out the resources if they don't have? They need to communicate, because if they don't communicate, they cannot get the support of their staff. So they have to be a very competent communicator. Okay, communicator in a sense, don't think the one who can give a 3 hour 2 hour speech without they are very spontaneous, and whatever you ask them, they can just give you an answer and they can speak for hours and hours. That is not the meaning of good communication skills. Good communication skills means you have something, a vision, an idea in your mind, but how do you bring it out to others? So that, how do you persuade others? In short, how do you make others believe in your vision? That is the meaning of good communication skills. Okay, are you using the correct medium? Are you using the right words? Are you using the right words at the right time? This matters a lot. Okay, now more is there. Okay, there is more to the list. Ability to create a sense of direction. Leader has to tell. Leader is not the one who is going to do everything for you, right? Suppose you are following a leader, they are not going to do everything for you. They will just make that direction for you. They will direct you. Okay, this is the way. It's like your Google map. Every one of us have a Google map right in our phone nowadays. It's like leading us. It's giving us a direction, but it is we ultimately who has to take the car and drive and go there. The Google map is not going to take us there from point A to point B. It is just giving us the direction. It's just leading us. So leader is the same way. He will just show you the way. You have to walk on it. Okay. Second, ability to think strategically. Strategic things are like, you have to think from the top of the organization. Everything you have to see. You can see everything. What's happening at the lower level, middle level, high level, the upper level, and they can take a decision. Okay. See, before you implement a new idea or innovate, a leader is the one who can see a vision, maybe 5 years, 10 years from today, how it will look like. If it fails, what are the consequences? If it becomes a success, how it will look like. A leader is the one who can see this before it's actually happening. Okay, before actually working on it, leaders are able to visualize. Okay, but please do not get confused with prediction. They are not some astrologer predicting future and all. They could be wrong. Okay, it's not that leaders are always 100% correct. I predict that I am going to bring an iPhone, a new iPhone version of a new iPhone on the market. It might be a failure after 5 years. Who knows? Okay, they are thinking it will be successful. That's why everyone thinks that it's going to be a success. That's why they create a product. That's why they do innovation. They could fail also. They could pass also. Okay, but obviously they'll be doing some market research. They'll be getting their own research, and based on the facts that they have collected and also their instinct, their gut, they go for it. It could be a success. It could be a failure. If it's a success, good, hats off. And if it's a failure, then what? They don't stop at it. They learn from it and they try to improve and improve, so they can do better and better innovation in the future. Every leader learns from their mistake and they don't repeat the same mistake. If they do a mistake again, that would be some new different mistake. It's not the same mistake. Okay, a true leader always learns from his mistake, from his failure. There is uh, no setback. They don't sit thinking, oh, I failed, I'm not never going to innovate. No, they're always interested in the long term view. Whereas other stakeholders, if you see whether you are a what do I say, employees, you are a manager, they always see short term to medium term. That's it. Leader is the only one who can see the long term view, who has to see the long term view of the group. Okay, for example, something that I'm investing today should give me long term profit, long term benefit, even if in the short term it's not giving me the ultimate profit. Okay, then entrepreneurial abilities. Leaders, they identify opportunities and they win the resources necessary to exploit them. They know when is the right opportunity, when is the right time to come to the market. They take the advantage of that opportunity. And if there's a thread, they will find their ways out to overcome those threads. Okay. Ability to lead from the front. They are the one who inspire, who goes and motivate. You can see them from the front, you can see this are the one. They are not some backside people. No. From the front, they will lead you, you can see. So these are some qualities. Don't memorize this list. It's not going to be any use to you if you have memorized the list of all the skills of a leader. It's not needed. It's very easy. You just go once. Just read it. By reading, you will be able to understand. Okay. There are two types of leader. Now we are moving towards, so we are done with leadership and management. Okay. Leadership is beyond management. Remember, leadership is leadership plus management, and management is just management. Okay. So manager is the one who just manages. Leadership is leadership is not more into managing. Leadership is more into inspiring, motivating, seeing long-term view. It is more like that. Okay, so please understand the difference between these two, leadership and management. In the exam, in your SBL exam, they will not ask you, please differentiate between leadership and management. Such questions they will not ask you. So you don't have to memorize this list. Just understand what differentiates a good leader from a bad leader. Okay, the skills. That's it. Now we are moving towards the fourth, that is leadership and culture. We are going to discuss 5 things, right? 5 things we have to focus on leadership. What is it? If I ask you now, please think over. What was it? Leadership and management we just covered. Then we covered the leadership styles, and then we covered the why leadership is important, nature of leadership. Now, fourth is leadership and culture. So there are 2 types of leader. Okay, make sure that you know the words and the differences between these two. Number 1 is known as transactional leaders. Transactional leaders is someone, okay, they see the relationship with their followers in terms of a trade. What does it mean? They give followers the reward they want in exchange for service, loyalty, and compliance. You are following me, I will give you the reward for it because you are following me. It's like a trade. Exchange of, you exchange money for the service you receive. I'll be giving a service, I'll be receiving money for that, giving that service. So it's like that. Transactional leaders are like that. You are following me, I will give you the reward for that. That is known as transactional leaders. Second type of leader is known as transformational leaders. The word is bigger. Bigger means it has more tasks. Okay, so if someone forgets what is the meaning of transactional or transformational, okay, please you can see transformational, this word is bigger than transactional. Okay, that's how I learned it, like that. Okay, or transform also, you can go by the word also, but transformation bigger means it has more things, bigger role. Okay, you can memorize it like that also, or the word transformational, the word transform itself tells you something to transform, something to change. Transactional, to do with transactions, very easy, with the words you can go. So transformational are the one who inspire, who motivates beyond compliance. It's not just comply with me, beyond that they change, They believe in changing the culture of the organization or the team, or they make them move into a new direction. That is known as transformational leaders. They are more into changing cultures and all. So because of that, we are going to study cultures of an organization. For that, we have a model which is known as cultural web. From your earlier studies, I think F1, accountant in business or something, AB, right? You have studied cultural web there. Now we are going to revisit that cultural web again. Not in this video, but in the third video, which is on leadership and culture. So there we are going to go through that. Okay. Now, there are some differences. Make sure you know these differences. Okay. It's important that you know the differences between these two, because transformational leader, this usually comes in the exam. Okay. So transactional leader is more passive. Okay. Transformationals are more proactive. Okay. I hope you know the difference between passive and proactive. If you don't, just Google and check it out. Transactional work within the confines of organizational culture. Same organization culture, they'll be working within the same organization culture. They don't change anything. Transformational, on the other hand, they try to change or they want to improve the culture. And they enhance motivational, moral, and job followers of followers. They want to improve the performance or the motivation or the moral. Transactional leader does not do those. Only transformational leader does it, okay? But transactional leader is not suitable where environment changes very rapidly. If it changes very rapidly, you cannot confine in the same organizational culture, right? When it changes rapidly environment, you have to change the culture. So transactional leader in that case is not suitable. Whereas one feature which distinguish between transactional and transformational is what? Ability to bring significant change. Okay, transformational leader changes. Okay, more about bringing significant change, whereas transactional, they remain same, they don't change. This is the difference. Okay, if you know this one feature, you'll be able to come up with other points. So now that's it. Culture we are going to follow in the third video in detail. So now the last part of leadership today in this video, we have reached in the last part, the fifth one, that is differences between entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship. Intrapreneurship is a new term added in your new textbook. So entrepreneurship, we all know. We have been hearing this, since a decade, more than, I don't know, centuries and centuries, we have been hearing this entrepreneurship. So it will not take me so much of time for me to define what is it. Okay, we all know entrepreneurship is the one who risk his own money to set up a business. Okay, they convert their ideas into successful products. Whereas on intrapreneurships, the word intra means something inside the organization. Think like that. Inside the organization. Who are there inside the organization? Managers and employees. So it is the employees. Okay, entrepreneurs. This is a growing trend. It's growing. This trend is growing now. What trend? To encourage your employees to come up with new ideas and take a risk to grow the business. Now they will come up with new ideas, and you, as an entrepreneur, you have to encourage them to come with new ideas. Okay, this is the meaning of entrepreneurship in simple term. Now let me give you some example, real life example. There are major brands such as Sony PlayStation and Post-it Note. This were developed in a culture of entrepreneurship. What does it mean? That means the staff of these companies gave them the idea to come up with this. That's why they're so successful now. Even the idea of like button, the like button that you have on Facebook, it was not there before. Okay, it was introduced there later. By whom? Who gave the idea of this like button? A junior member of staff in the company who works for the Facebook. He developed this idea. Okay, now how do you encourage entrepreneurship? I am expecting that this might be given to you in your exam, in your March 2022 exam for SBL. So make sure, because these things are new, right? So new things has more chances of appearing in your exam. So this are some list that is in your textbook also, but my part is explanation part, because some of you don't want to go through the textbook. It looks dull and no pictures, very boring, long. Who will read? That's the reason why I have introduced this in a video form, so that you just listen. You can listen anytime, even without seeing the video. You can just hear it like audio, right? So that's the reason. Okay. Again, no need to memorize. Understanding is the key. That's it. First, set a culture. You have to set up a culture where employees are encouraged. They're not dismissed for giving ideas which might not be so practical or just looks unreasonable. No. Set up a culture where every employees are encouraged to come up with their new ideas. It could be any idea. Okay? And give them time, because all the people who come up with new ideas, they don't come in one day like this and then they're like, okay, we are going to do this. No, it takes some time. Give them some time so that they can work around their idea. They can see whether it's going to be feasible, whether it's going to be suitable, or whether it's going to be acceptable by others or not, and then they give an idea. So longer the time, if they're given time, the better they will work better. Second, managers should have an open door policies. That means everyone in the organization should feel free to come to the manager and give them idea, the staff and all, because ideas can come anytime. So you should have that policy that anytime they can come and discuss the ideas. Okay, they should not wait that manager should go to them and ask. Okay, staff should feel free, door should always be open. Such policies should be implemented. Third, remove the administrative and bureaucracy barriers. Sometimes what happens is there are so many administrative barriers. You directly cannot talk to the manager. You might have to go through so many line managers, so many people in between the organization, in the middle of the hierarchy, and it takes so much of time that you become frustrated and you feel like, whether I should actually present my new ideas or not. So remove such layers, just cut it off. Culture. Develop a culture of innovation where even if you make a mistake, it is not the end, right? You are given the credit for at least coming with the idea, at least making that effort to come up with the idea, even if it's not being accepted by others, or even if it's a failure. Failures are taken as a what do I say, learning step. They are not taken as, you are bad or you are rejected, or we don't accept failure. No. Budget for resources to develop new ideas. See, you have to have a budget. You cannot tell the entrepreneurs that they should come up with their own finance to finance their ideas. No, it doesn't happen that way. Entrepreneurs will only give you the ideas. It is the entrepreneurs who has to finance it. So that's why you have to keep a budget for that also. If this is the new idea in a year, how many new ideas I'm going to take and what is the budget? Keep a separate budget for it. Give employees a degree of ownership for new ideas. Whenever new ideas is being given, make sure that you appreciate, you make them recognize that this is the employee, it's his idea. Give the name. Okay, give the credit to the employee who has come up with the ideas. It could be 5 ideas in a day, 6 ideas in a day, even a one idea. Make sure that that employee get the credit for it, because later he will be more encouraged to come up with more ideas. Everyone wants to feel a part of an organization, want to feel important, that their ideas are taken, it's important, it's worthwhile. Everyone wants to feel worthwhile. Make them feel it by giving them the credit, giving them the ownership that this is their idea. Okay, so what happens sometimes, the managers, employees give them idea, they then go to the board and say this is my idea. They don't give any credit to the employees. They just take the credit purely on their own, which again should not be done, because it discourages the employees then to come up with new ideas next time. Okay, try to identify these entrepreneurs in your organization. Not every employee is an entrepreneur. There are few who are very very good with ideas and all. So you have to identify them and give those employees more time, and resources also has to be provided to them so that they can develop the ideas further. Okay, so these are some 4 5 6 7 to 8 ways to encourage entrepreneurship. Now this is the end. We have come towards the end of the lecture. So the differences between entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs. Okay, it's very easy. They start up a business and they are the owner, whereas entrepreneurs are the employee. They're not the owner. They could be an owner if they have taken some share from the ownership, but usually they are the employees. Bear financial risk. Entrepreneurs, they do not bear financial risk. It could be any type of risk. Let's say if the company runs in debt, entrepreneurs are going to lose everything. If there's a short flow of cash problem, entrepreneur is the one who has to make that difference, not entrepreneurs. That's why it is entrepreneurs who has to bear the financial risk if things go wrong, not entrepreneurs. But one advantage is they can enjoy the entire 100% profit. Whatever the profit makes, entrepreneurs can enjoy entirely. Whereas intrapreneurs, employees only share, they only enjoy share of a profit. Some percentage of a profit only they will get, not the entire 100%. So that's a disadvantage from the entrepreneur side. Entrepreneurs are independent on their own. They can run on their own. Remember that. Whereas entrepreneurs, they are dependent on entrepreneurs, because without entrepreneurs, you cannot have entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are the one who are financing these entrepreneurs. They are the one who's giving a job to this. That's why they are the employee of the company. They are the one who's bearing financial risk. They are the one who's giving the financial resources to the entrepreneurs. So that's why they are dependent on entrepreneurs. Whereas entrepreneurs, okay, they can walk away from the organization anytime. Okay. So that's the next point which I'm going to say, which I already explained. Risk of losing employees. See, I've told you, entrepreneurs can always walk away if things are not going good. Entrepreneurs, they cannot do that because they have risked their own money there, or maybe some personal assets which they have to cover. They cannot do that. They can set up in competition. Yes, they can go to their competitors and join hands. Business survival depends on the entrepreneur's skills and ability. Yes, when a business is surviving or doing well, it is the reason is entrepreneur's skills and ability more than the entrepreneur's effect and all. See, you can come up with good ideas, innovation. You can afford to make a mistake only when the company is at good condition, doing good. But when the company is in a bad condition, economic recession is going on, that time it's more important focus is on business survival. That time it is the entrepreneur's skills and ability that works, because they are more experienced in that rather than the entrepreneurs. So you cannot encourage them that time to come up with new ideas, right? Entrepreneurs, they do not have to provide funds. They do not have to provide funds. So they are safe in that way. Resources are provided by them. They are the one who gives resources, whether it's money, cash, staff, human resource, financial resource, whatever it is. Entrepreneurs, resources are provided to them. Yep, they're already given the resources. They don't have to worry about it. Always, entrepreneurs are the one who has a final say. Remember, entrepreneurs are not the one who is going to have a final say. They can just give ideas, but it is up to the entrepreneurs whether they are going to accept your ideas or not. Okay? Even though they are given full freedom to take their own decision, be creative. Remember, they're ultimately under the control of entrepreneurs are the one who has to guide them, because without their guidance, entrepreneurs cannot flourish in an organization. Okay, so these are some few things, and that's it. So we have come towards the end of the lecture. So thank you for watching, and the next video will be the second part of leadership, that is on your code of ethics, professionalism, code of ethics, and public interest. Again, a very interesting but very important topic for your SBL exam. Definitely, ethics question is going to come. So, see you in the next video. Until then, take care.